That's about 50 pounds. So.
It does. Absolutely. Even to my arm.
We're ready to go, Shay, whenever you want. There he is.
Six 6:30. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you'll stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the council has the agenda before them. Is there a motion that we approve, or are there any changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any announcements this evening? No. Okay. There is no public comment. To the consent agenda, is there a motion we approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving to the regular agenda, item A is the picnic shelter restroom designs.
All right, well, just first I'll introduce you to, this is Joey Burnett with Peacock Company Architectures, and they're the ones that has been working on this design project. Just a quick little recap. This project actually started back in 2017, where the original design plans were done for this project. Kind of got put on the shelf for a while. At last year's visioning session, after getting some feedback from the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and through the comprehensive planning process, there was still a strong desire for this facility. That was kind of, it was, came to the forefront between COVID and the huge, enormous use of outdoor space that was being used here at the park. And with the addition of the baseball field, that stronger need to have that restroom facility at the back of the park has been really great. So back in January, y'all told us to go ahead to start to update these plans, which is what Joey's been working on for the last 6 months. We were hoping that in July we'd be able to bid it out and we'd be on the process already. But with the construction issues this summer, we decided to push off till January. So that's kind of where we're at now. The most up-to-date drawings we have were in your packet. And Joey's here to answer any questions, and I'm here to answer any questions you have about it. And we'll take any comments, and hopefully we can move forward for construction bid in January.
Is this really about the last piece of the park puzzle
As far as like,
plans? You know, we did the baseball field, basketball court.
yeah, if you look
pretty
on the
much it.
front of your drawing, you can kind of see the updated master plan. So as far as big
projects, yeah.
project structures, I would say this and then the potential skate park there at the front of the park are your two biggest projects. Everything else is much smaller projects: Wildflower Meadows, court lightings, baseball field lightings, things like that. Yes, this is really, I would say, the last
big thing.
major piece of this park. And this is a carryover from the original park master plan. It was on that plan and it was reiterated again in our new master plan update. So yes, yeah, I would say this is probably the last major facility or upgrade for this park.
And that's like 6, 8 picnic tables that fits.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Mhm. which is really a good size. One complaint we get about our large shelter is it's really great for those family reunions, corporate picnics, big church gatherings, those sort of things. But when someone wants to have their 6-year-old's birthday party,
Right.
they have all that space.
Kids running around
And they,
tables.
yeah, and they really, people ask all the time, well, can I just rent a few tables, that sort of thing. So I think this facility is really going to be great for those smaller functions, those birthday parties, those small gatherings.
We don't currently charge for the single picnic table shelter, right?
No, that one single picnic table right by the playground
I
is
think the
just
party's
first come,
there.
first served. Yeah.
So Nicole, do you think this shelter being in proximity of the baseball field and the basketball court, do you think the restroom facility is going to be big enough? Because this is going to be the go-to for those two sites, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. It's only one less stall, or in the women's room, it's one less stall than the main restroom down here, and one less urinal. We're never usually overwhelmed except at special events where we have a line, so to say, to get in the restroom. So I do think it will be adequate for that section of space.
And we're still waiting to hear back about the solar panel stuff.
Yeah, we are planning to be solar panel ready. So that would be a future project down the line. We have been in talk with Alan Watts with Renewable Design Associates, who did the solar panels on this building and the other facilities in the park. So he has in this design has the blueprint, so to say, to, I know, I can't see Brian over the podium. To be ready for solar panels for a future project. I don't have a quote yet and about power, what kind of power we can draw from such a small footprint, but we will come to you with a future project. The other thing that we have been discussing and have considered, that is in the foul ball territory of the baseball field. So that's, as we move forward on this project, something just to keep in mind when we consider whether to move forward, but we are, so to say, ready to plug in if that's something we decide to move forward with. And just the same goes for, as you can see on the plan, it does call for eventually having baseball field lighting. As we move power over there, we want to make sure that if down the road we decide to move forward on that section of the project, that we're ready for it. So we'll just do that as part of the project. And
Nicole, a question.
what was that, Roger?
A question, please.
Go ahead.
Is that, so how do we intend to get from this picnic shelter? Are we going to cut the pavement? Are we going to bore underneath the pavement with the sewer and the water?
So WGLA is the civil engineer on this, that to get the power, and we're pulling it off of the public facility, so it would be coming through the pavement, and then water.
Daniel, I can't hear him.
So WGLA is the civil engineer for the project. They are suggesting to trench through the existing pavement for power, and I think that the sewer and water will be coming from the west of the project. I think there's already existing facilities on that side of the asphalt that we're tying into.
There is with water, not sewer.
So a question, will sewer drain from this picnic shelter to our sewer system?
Yes, it will.
Do what, I'm sorry?
It will connect to the existing sewer.
So we've got 3 lines, power, water, and sewer going to this picnic shelter. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So Joey, you're aware of the budget that the cost estimate that we had then.
Correct.
So how close do you think, is that a realistic number at this point?
Yes, absolutely. As far as the structure goes, you're definitely gonna be well underneath that projected estimation.
Mhm.
The only, the site work, since we are kind of doing some more future proofing for that site in order to kind of, like Nicole was talking about, leaving open the option to include lighting for the baseball diamond and the basketball courts. So there will be a slightly increased civil cost. And some of that is unknown, given the fact that some of the piping and like PVC terminals and stuff like that are kind of up in the air as far as costs go right now. But between my team and civil engineering, we feel pretty confident that that proposed budget is going to be able to accomplish this project as designed.
Question is that, can you tie in on the electrical? Can you tie in to the electrical grid that's on the maintenance shed with the solar panels and not have to have a separate meter?
We did. I did talk to an engineer about the potential of this particular facility operating off of solar, and it just right now it doesn't. It didn't make a ton of sense for that proposal to kind of move forward. So we are going to traditionally meter this project with the option of solar in the future to kind of negate those operation costs in the future.
So is that a yes or no? So will we have to have a separate meter?
Yes, yes.
And so where will that come from?
I believe the closest power is at the maintenance building on the west side of the parking lot.
Ready to.
It's time to just keep, move things along.
Yep.
So what do you need from us?
Any feedback on design or otherwise?
I like it. I mean,
Recommendation to move forward. and
a
we'll
shelter with
continue
picnic
working
tables
with-
and toilets.
Yeah.
Need to be fancy.
Well, I think it fits in very nicely with what we already have here, and I think the location is perfect for, that need in that area. So I'm for it. Very happy.
I like it. Good job.
Well, if there's any other feedback that comes up, we are about 90% done with the drawing. So if there is something that comes up, feel free to reach out to the total, get your feedback back to me, and we can see about incorporating those that feedback. So,
Thank you. Do you need a motion for us? Do you need a motion from us or anything?
Yes, if you want to go ahead and authorize us to put this to bid with what you've seen here tonight, then yes, we'll take a motion for that.
And I'm reminded, thank you, Mike, that because Roger's not here and is remotely attending, it needs to be a roll call vote, please.
So I'll make a motion to move this forward to the bid process based on the design we have.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Roger, yes or no?
No. Is it the reason I'm voting no? I'd like to see some more detailed information.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the Board of Adjustment Charter and Membership.
So this evening in front of you is a draft of the Charter and Rules of Procedure for the Board of Adjustment. Last month, we had talked about the Planning Board's Charter and Rules of Procedure, and this document is based off of that layout format, same general principle. It has been tailored to the Board of Adjustment, as there are some specific statutory requirements that must be met with that board. So those are called out. Scope of their powers is obviously much less than the planning board. So those are reflected in Article 2. And that's really it as far as the outline of these. I'm happy to go over any questions you might have about anything in these rules.
Could you tolerate correction of a couple typos?
Oh, please. Yeah.
Article 5.
Mhm.
You always find a typo on a headline, right? Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. And in section 1, immediately beneath that, it refers to a city council rather than town council.
thank you.
And you got the one on page 6, right? The 2 section 4s.
Yes, I did. Thank
Okay.
you. No. But we know now. Someone's leaving a voicemail.
We need to take a direction on the reappointment. We need to handle the reappointments too as a part of this, right?
You certainly could, yes.
Okay.
If you're ready to do that.
I'll
Okay.
make a motion to adopt.
I'll second that.
All those in favor of adopting the Charter and Rules of Procedure for the Board of Adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
That was everybody. So this is one committee I'm afraid to mess with because it's hard to get members as it
Yes,
is.
right.
I mean, do we have, it's full or it's still short one? We're short a second alternate?
We're short both
Both
alternates.
alternates, okay.
We just have the 5 right now.
So I'll make a motion to reappoint the 5 existing. And then to
For the
continue,
existing terms.
yes, and then continue advertising vacancies.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Do we have anybody who that was a second pick on the other committees?
Mhm.
I don't remember. Somehow I doubt it. No.
So somebody who was for a second pick. Jeff Moore and Dennis Grass. But you did appoint Jeff Moore to the planning board.
Okay.
At one point, there'd been a suggestion about using planning board members as your alternates as well. Just throwing it back at you.
Is that
as
a
an
conflict
idea.
though, if they are the ones having to?
I don't think that there is a conflict between those two boards because the planning board does not have approving authority on anything. Well, for major subdivisions, they do. But as far as any other zoning permit that would go to the Board of Adjustment, such as a variance or, well, now they are involved in some special use permits. So
So it could. and
there
it
could be a
not.
little bit of
So,
confusion
yeah.
there.
And Daniel, you said that other municipalities do this.
Mhm,
Yeah. Planning board members who serve as
Mhm.
members of Board of Adjustments.
mhm.
Well, should we give the planning board a chance, open it to them to see if any of them are interested in being an alternate? If we go that direction?
I think that seems reasonable.
Okay. Maybe we can approach it from that point of view.
'Cause at least
Um,
they would be maybe up to speed. More so than someone else. Because if they're active on the planning board, even if they're just an alternate on the Board of Adjustment, they still
mhm.
might know what's going on.
I don't know Mr. Grass's credentials, but maybe we could look at that next time if,
Wasn't sure you were doing this, so I will bring that application and I'll reach out to the planning board in the meantime.
great.
And anybody who is interested, I'll bring their planning board application.
That's terrific. Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item C, the Banner Farm Road subdivision guarantee.
Good evening, council. So I approved this minor subdivision in September 24th. So normally with minor subdivision approvals or any subdivision approval, we approve the preliminary subdivision plat at the front end. And then if the developer wants to file the final subdivision plat, which actually creates the individual lots they can build on, they have to have all the infrastructure installed. They haven't completed that at the Banner Farm Road subdivision, so they've submitted an application for a subdivision improvement guarantee to cover the amount for those improvements. The town's contracted engineer has looked at this and concurs with the estimate. And really all we would need is a motion to accept the bond as presented.
Shay,
Yes.
is that just for the public? Where is the subdivision at?
The approximate address, it doesn't have an assigned address by Henderson County, but the approximate address is 203 Banner Farm Road.
Which is,
So between,
on
so
the screen.
past Ropers, but between Old Southern.
It's across from the property where there was a special use permit filing earlier this spring for townhomes.
okay, all right, thank you, Michael.
Yep. Those two parcels, yeah.
Those have been for sale forever.
And Daniel, just for the benefit of the public, those who might be listening in, could you explain why the town does this just as a matter of course, anytime there's a new development that comes in?
Sure. Like Mike said, typically when developments are, they come through the door for subdivisions, minor subdivisions, Mike will review the plat for conformance with the subdivision standards. And then the designers will use that, then survey the lots and start construction of the subdivision. In the chance that they want to go ahead and create those lots, that means actually record it at the Register of Deeds office. If they have not completed all the infrastructure, like roads or water or sewer line installations, they have to put up a surety of some variety, and typically it's a bond. And what that does is ensure that if something should happen with that development, and the plats are recorded and they begin selling lots, and the construction, the contractor is unable to finish, or, they're not, they walk away for some reason, that bond is there for the town then to access to complete those improvements so that those homeowners or property owners are able to actually utilize the lot that they bought. That's the purpose of having that surety in hand prior to the final plat being reported.
This is to keep another Seven Falls situation.
Exactly.
Right. I'm comfortable with it. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I assume that was approval. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, to our staff updates. Finance Director / Town Clerk, Sue.
I'm just going to remind you that your next meeting is in November. We moved the 11th to the 18th and canceled the one that fell on Thanksgiving. Just remind you and for the public.
Thank you. Parks and Rec, anything, Nicole?
Yeah, just a quick. So next week on November 2nd, we have partnered with the YMCA to do a YMCA mobile market. So if you're not familiar with that program, it is a free produce program through the YMCA. They have a trailer that they park in a community space, and it's essentially just a free place for people to come, no questions asked, to come get free produce if they're in need. All they have to do is show up, tell them how many people are in the family. They'll weigh out some produce and food for you. So I'm looking forward to that new partnership developing with the mobile market. So again, that'll be November 2nd at 3 p.m. here at Mills River Park, and they'll be parked down by the picnic shelter. Also on November 6th, we'll have the Veterans Day 5K. It will be hosted here in Mills River Park. So if anyone's interested in signing up for that, that should be a fun event. And on December 11th, rumor has it Santa Claus is coming to town. So check our website and our Facebook page really soon for routes and updates of see if Santa Claus is coming to your neighborhood. And that'll be December 11th. So mark that on your calendar. It should be fun. And then just lastly, just a quick update on the Riverbank project. We have received our last permit. So we are signed, sealed, stamped, and ready to go. So we'll have our pre-bid or our pre-construction meeting in December, with construction happening right after the new year. And just for the public, just know once construction starts in January, the back section of the walking trail will be closed until the work's complete. So we're really looking forward to getting that project done.
Thank you, Nicole. Zoning Administrator, Michael.
We brought the conditional zoning rough draft text to the planning board on October 5th. And at the upcoming meeting on Tuesday, we're going to be bringing final text for a recommendation. And then that'll come before this council at some later point in time. I have no other specific dates. Development continues to be very rapid and busy.
Thank you. And Town Manager, Daniel.
Yes, a couple of updates. First of all, I want to mention that Joey, who was here earlier this evening working on the picnic shelter, is also working with us on the town hall project. I met with him a few weeks ago to talk about facility needs, and he's putting together a survey that we presented to all of you as well as staff to talk about facility needs now and in the future, so we can get that project moving. The website continues to progress. We had a 2 days of training this week from 9 to 4, so it was a full couple of days. It was very beneficial, I think. We're all very excited about that, and it should be live in about 2 weeks. There's a couple of design things we need to get ironed out, but it should be live about the second week in November, and we'll keep you posted on that. Mike and I had a meeting today with the permit software folks to get our code enforcement stuff started. So that's moving along. We sent out the email to establish the first bike and pedestrian planning committee meeting, hoping to have that done before Thanksgiving. And then the second one will be after the first of the year. I got some good news today on the Mills River Valley Trail. We have been talking about that kind of off and on the last several months. And in particular lately with the cost increases that the state has discovered amongst all of its projects statewide. This one was no different. Although I did get some promising news today that the state is going to do a design in-house. It's called an express design. That's a little bit higher level than the actual engineered drawings. But what that will allow us to do is have a much better understanding of what the actual construction costs will be for the project, as well as right-of-way acquisition and any utility relocations. I don't have a timeline for that yet, although it has been approved at state level. Our project manager was having a scoping meeting with the designers today. So I expect to hear from her in the next day or two about how that went. That's very good news because it will allow us to get a lot more information about costs prior to investing the full amount into the actual design. We met with the auditor today. That went well. You'll be seeing that at your meeting on the 18th. And a couple other things that we've been working on. Sue and I, and really everyone at one point or another, has been attending ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, funding webinars through the School of Government. Not a whole lot new to report at this point because the Treasury has not issued its final rule. So we're trying to learn as much as we can about it based on the information that we have. But everyone really across the country is sort of in a holding pattern until the Treasury actually says what we can do with the money. I do want to congratulate Patty Brown, our deputy clerk, on completing the clerk certification last week. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. That was a lot of hard work. And I think Mike mentioned it at one point, but he was accepted into the municipal administration course this year through the School of Government, and he secured a scholarship that covered more than half of that tuition from the School of Government. So that's been going on for the last, I guess, month and a half or so. Mike, you want to give just a quick highlight of what that course is?
Yeah, it's a course offered, professional development course offered by the School of Government for basically practitioners in the field at mid to high levels in local government, city and county administration. And basically it's a crash course every other week, all the way through May, of every facet of local government, city and county level. So consider it an MPA light, if you will.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thanks.
And congratulations to Patty. Anything else, Daniel?
I think that's all that I have.
Okay, council comments?
I just have one question. Dan, do you have any update on the audio visual?
Yes, I just got the revised quote from one of the vendors earlier this week. Still waiting on the second one. But I'll be meeting with the first gentleman the first of next week to go over that, make sure all of our ducks in a row. And in light of some of the trainings that we've been in this week with the federal funds, we need to make sure that we follow specific procedures. We have been, we just need to double check everything because it's federal money. But that's the next step.
I just wanted to mention that at the French Broad River MPO meeting today, they mentioned that there have been further delays to the right-of-way acquisition on the 191 project. That'll push right-of-way acquisition into fiscal year 2022. They did not mention any delays to the let dates or completion dates, but I imagine that would seem to go hand in hand, so we'll see.
Brian?
No, I make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.